It's Thursday. Donald Trump had another gibberish cabinet meeting earlier today where, all of his cabinet members just kissed his ass at levels that to a normal human being would be embarrassing to be on the receiving end of. But of course, he thought it was awesome. And he said two things back to back. He was talking about the government shutdown. He was saying that the governments or the Democrats shut down the government. I think we're on day 10 or 9. Even though Republicans control the White House, the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court, Democrats have no power in Washington, but they're apparently the ones that shut down the government. And he said in retaliation that they're going to make some permanent cuts to Democrat programs. I have followed politics, news, and the law very, very closely since I was a kid. I was not aware that there were any federal programs that provide benefits to Americans that a prerequisite to receiving benefits from that program that you had to prove that you were a registered Democrat. In their big, beautiful bill that they passed at the beginning of July, they cut $1.5 trillion from healthcare and Medicaid, SNAP benefits. Those programs don't require you to show your voter registration or your party affiliation. Those cuts are going to affect Republicans and MAGA voters probably to a greater degree than they will affect Democratic voters because Democrats tend to have much higher educations, accomplishments, and as a result tend to have much higher income levels than your everyday MAGA voter. MAGA voters being people who are incredibly dumb, gullible, loud, mean, easily manipulated, and easily separated from their own money. So I'm not sure what Democrat programs he's talking about. Then he shifted immediately to say that he's going to make prescription medications free in the United States by reducing their cost by over 100%, which would make them free. A couple weeks ago, he put a 100% tariff on prescription medications coming in from overseas, but now he's going to make those medications free, which is socialism. And it's like you listen to this guy talk for any extended amount of time, and you kind of start to understand how it is that his supporters are just so fucking gobsmackingly stupid. Because they hear those things back to back and they're thinking, oh, that's amazing. Martha, our drugs are going to be free. Martha! His supporters hear those two things back to back and they're like, man, this is amazing. This is fantastic. He's going to screw over the Democrats by cutting federal programs that only benefit Democrats. They believe that's real. And then they believe that he's going to make prescription drugs free by reducing their cost by over 100%. 2 weeks after he put 100% tariffs on prescription medications that are brought in from overseas. And it's like when you hear those things in a row, I think you really start to gain some valuable insight into why his supporters are legitimately the stupidest fucking people that this country has ever been saddled with. They are dumb and they are gullible and they are easily manipulated. And it turns out they actually love socialism, even though they can't define it. They think it's the same thing as Marxism and communism and fascism and Buddhism. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. They can't define any of those words, the things that they hate. But when they're on the receiving end of socialism, they think it's amazing. when Democrats want to, I don't know, raise the minimum wage, they're like, that's socialism. Where are my free prescriptions? And, you know, I mean, during his first term, I said that Donald Trump was a symptom of what the real problem is. The real problem being the fact that we have tens of millions of people uh, who participate in the electorate who objectively are complete fucking morons. And I've shifted that a little bit now that we're in his second term, where that same problem still exists. The number of those people has actually gotten larger than it was during his first term. And, now it's like Donald Trump recognizes that problem. And he has become a master at manipulating these people and feeding them whatever bullshit it is that they crave, which, it's got electrolytes, you know? Welcome to Costco. I love you. Uh, you know, he knows how to manipulate their racism, their misogyny, their bigotry, their homophobia, their transphobia. He knows how to continue the manipulation that they've been on the receiving end of, from Fox News and right wing media for 30 years. That has explicitly taught them and just embedded into their brains that Democrats are evil, that Democrats force transgender for everybody, which is a sentence that doesn't even make sense, as though it's a menu item. Yes, I'll have the transgender, please. Uh, you know, these same people who are convinced that teachers in elementary schools are performing gender changing operations, surgeries on school age children, such that you drop your son off at the beginning of a school day, and at the end of the day, you pick them up, and they're actually now a little girl, and they've undergone surgical removal of their penises. And the same people who believe that school teachers have litter boxes in their classroom for their students who identify as furries, which, because apparently if you're a furry, that means that you go to the bathroom in a litter box in front of a classroom full of your classmates. They're the same people that get somewhat turgid when they're talking about the gay agenda, and they're just constantly talking about gay people ramming things down their throats. And so that's the real problem. The real problem in this country is the electorate that's been so brainwashed by right-wing media, and Donald Trump has just learned how to take advantage of that. And has made something like $8 billion from various bullshit crypto schemes since election day, and his supporters think that's amazing because he's a businessman. They'll tell you that constantly. Donald Trump is a businessman, and they believe that, and they believe that the president of the United States should be allowed to use the power and the prestige of that office explicitly for personal self-enrichment financially. Uh, you know, when they say that kind of stuff to you, Donald Trump's a businessman, he should be permitted to make money while he's in office. Just look at him and say, tell me what you know about Hunter Biden and the Biden crime family. And they will glitch because they're stupid. Because when conflicting concepts enter their brain, they glitch, which is super fun to watch, man. It's incredibly entertaining. It's incredibly entertaining to watch. They're like a cat that's playing with a ball of tinfoil or something, and then they just like, or it's like when they eat too much ice cream and they get that brain freeze thing. They're just like, they glitch. And they glitch because they're stupid.